Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of A Fresh Perspective with Jeff Charles, where we prefer truth over narrative and principles over politics. And today we're talking about something that's gonna lighten things up a little bit and make things a little bit higher. Okay, you'll get the dad joke in a second. But this is especially true if you happen to live in Florida. So, the Donald, former President Trump, recently backed Florida's Amendment 3 to legalize marijuana, that sticky icky, the green stuff, Mary Jane, the mota, whatever you want to call it. And I got to say, this has got to be one of the best moves he's done yet. Now, there's a lot of criticism I have for Trump, and there are things that I like about him. This is good Trump right here. I love it. But now I get it. Before you grab your pitchforks and torches, just hear me out. So Trump, I think it was like a few days ago, sometime last week, he made a post on Truth Social basically saying, look, whether you like it or not, marijuana is going to be legalized. And honestly, he's right. The voters are behind Amendment 3, and they're the ones who are going to be voting on this. The majority of Floridians want this to pass. And I'll explain what the amendment does in a second. But basically, Trump is he's pretty good about reading the room and then turning that room into a Trump rally. Anyway, but here's the thing. Trump is really big on this law and order bullcrap he talks about a lot, and maybe I'll explain why it's bullcrap later on, but, saying he wants to give additional immunity to police officers is the dumbest thing I've heard of, or one of the dumbest things I've heard of. But in this instance, he's admitting something that is pretty important here. Wasting taxpayer money to go after people over this plant is dumb. It ruins lives, it drains public resources for no good reason. And, we understand nobody wants to lose a loved one because they got some marijuana on the black market. It was laced with fentanyl, which does happen, and then they end up accidentally overdosing. So Trump is right. Legalize it and keep people safe. Now, he also called for regulating it. Y'all know I'm not really a fan of that, but at least it's less bad than what we're doing right now. Now, Amendment 3, what does it do? If you're over 21, you can legally possess up to 3 ounces of weed. Now, this isn't exactly enough to turn your living room into a Snoop Dogg or a Dave Matthews Band concert, right? But it's enough for personal use. I don't think that there should be limits on this, but that's what the amendment says. It keeps the government to a more of a degree than it does now. It keeps it more out of your personal choices, which I'm all about that. So here are some of the benefits. Firstly, it saves billions in enforcement costs. Fewer people getting arrested for nonviolent drug offenses means fewer people clogging up the criminal justice system, less taxpayer money to process them, arrest them, put them in jail, put them on trial, yada, yada, yada. This is especially true when you consider the 6,000 arrests in 2022 alone just for marijuana possession. How about we focus on actual criminals who are actually hurting other people and not people who like to light up a joint every now and then? Secondly, this would give people a safer alternative. Marijuana is not fentanyl, it's not an opioid, and you're not going to overdose on it. Now, I'm not one of those who claims that marijuana is this magic plant that cures everything and it has absolutely no drawbacks. Just like with anything else, if you're not doing it in moderation, then yeah, it could have some bad effects. But the bottom line is that it's your choice, not the government's. So legalizing marijuana is a much smarter approach than forcing people to get it on the black market where it can be laced with God knows what. So here's the last part. There are people who are opposing this, of course. Most of them are Republicans who think that they should be able to use the government force to make you live the way they do or the way they want you to. Like Governor Ron DeSantis. I've been picking on him lately about this. He gave the dumbest argument I've ever heard against marijuana. I don't even know why people make this argument. It's pretty dumb. Basically, he argued, oh, well, you're going to smell it everywhere if it's legalized. First off, I used to live in Austin. It ain't really legal in Texas, right? Although Austin doesn't really enforce a lot of those laws. Yeah, there are places where you're going to smell some weed, but it's not everywhere. I think a lot of people exaggerate that. On top of that, I don't like the smell of cigarette smoke. It makes me feel nauseous. When I smell that in public, I hate it. It has never once occurred to me to think, you know what? We should throw that person in jail because I don't like smelling tobacco smoke. We should throw them in jail for having that cigarette. It's dumb. It's ridiculous. If you really think about this stuff, a lot of these arguments don't add up. There are some decent arguments against legalizing marijuana. I find them to be severely lacking, but there's better arguments than I just don't like the smell. But here's the other thing: Amendment 3 doesn't necessarily allow marijuana to be consumed in public. It would be more regulated, like tobacco, alcohol, and things like that. And most people are going to do it in the privacy of their own home, which means it's none of your damn business, DeSantis or the other Republicans who are pushing back on this amendment. Other people have argued that it would create a monopoly because there's this one medical miracle company, I think it's called Trulieve in Florida, that's really pushing for this. And they might have a de facto monopoly over that. Well, if that's the case, whose fault is that? Is that Trulieve's fault? No, it's Florida's government's fault. They shouldn't be making it so hard for other companies to break into the market. That's a whole other can of worms. I mean, Colorado's say that they've legalized marijuana, but not really. They've only legalized it for people who are middle class to wealthy. People who are have less income still have to get on the black market because they can't afford to get it. That's a whole other subject, and I'll do another video on that. But here's the bottom line. This is about liberty, guys. The government should not be our nanny. The state shouldn't be telling people what they can and can't consume as long as they're not harming other people. It's that simple. Let's stop wasting time and resources on policing personal choices and get back to focusing on real issues. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Do you think I'm high right now and that's why I'm supporting this? I'm not. But here, these are conversations that we should be happening. So let me know what you think. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button like the government smashing your rights. And also check out my Substack called Chasing Liberty. You can access that at libertychasers.com. Become a subscriber. Become a paid subscriber. Support my work. I love you all. But until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stay free, stay principled, and most importantly, stay ungovernable.